Hey everyone, welcome back to Bible Verse Breakdown. In this video, I am going to be breaking down Luke chapter 14 verses 28 to 30, where Jesus Christ said, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply after he hath laid the foundation and is unable to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish." This just looks like, some piece of wisdom for construction workers, but it's actually a lot bigger than that, particularly if we look at what Jesus Christ was saying before. If we go back to verse 26 and 27, Jesus Christ was talking about all the things we have to forsake if we are to be his disciple. He spoke about a mother and father and houses and all other kinds of things like that, which are obviously doesn't mean that we have to forsake every single one of those things, because it depends on our own faith. If our family members are fellow Christians, then we wouldn't need to forsake them because they're going to help us do the work. But if they're not, or if they're not serious Christians, then what Jesus Christ said in Matthew chapter 10 verse 36 will fulfill. A man's foes will be they of his own household. The point Jesus Christ was trying to make with the whole counting the cost is that when we come to God, we say we're Christians, we want to worship him, we have to first of all be interested in finding out, what does God really want from me? What do I need to do to worship him well? If you read Micah chapter 6 verse 8, Micah had actually answered this question by saying, "What doth the Lord require of thee but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God?" In other words, he was saying we have to mean what we're doing. We can't just come into Christianity because we say we want to serve him, we want to do his will and whatever, but then we're actually more interested in seeking ephemeral pleasures, because the parable of the sower, which Jesus Christ told in Matthew chapter 13, verses 3 to 9, and he interpreted in verses 18 to 23, says that challenges of life will test whether we're actually sincere or not. So that if we are unable to finish, we will eventually fall out, either due to ephemeral pleasures that our Christian life is preventing us from getting, or maybe friends we wish we had, maybe we want to be popular, we want to be in the thick of things, but obviously Christianity is more like we should be focused on gaining wisdom and seeking God and so on. Or maybe there's persecution and backlash that comes from us holding different opinions from those who are either non-Christians or don't take Christianity seriously. Because as Paul said, what relationship does righteousness have with unrighteousness, right? We shouldn't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. And if you read the story of Demas, you see Paul had said in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 9 and 10, "Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica," and so on. If you also read Mark chapter 10, verses 17 to 25, you see that that rich man did not have sufficient to finish. At least he didn't even start at all, because once Jesus Christ had said, "Sell all your possessions and you'll have treasure in heaven and come follow me," he couldn't do that. Because as the Bible said, he had great possessions and he had a lot of value for them. He couldn't just give them up. If you also read Ruth chapter 1 verses 14 to 15, we see that Orpah decided to go back to her family and to her gods instead of following Naomi, because she didn't have enough belief in whatever future Naomi may have had to decide to stick with her and follow her. So she decided to go back. But Ruth had enough to be able to stick with it. And she did indeed finish it, and God blessed her as a result. And there are many more such examples. If you also read Luke chapter 9, verses 57 to 62, Jesus Christ was trying to address different people who were like, "Let me be your disciple." But he was trying to say, this is not a simple business. Any man putting his hands on the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom of God, as he said in verse 62. Which may remind us of what happened to Lot's wife in Genesis chapter 19, verse 26, where she looked back and became a pillar of salt. If we want to be able to finish, we have to be like Paul, who said in Philippians chapter 3, verses 7 to 9, that he forsook all things, but it wasn't painful to him. He said that he counted them but dung, worthless, because as a result of giving those things up, he was able to win Christ. We have to be very sincere about our worship. if we want to be able to make it to the end. As we were told in Hebrews chapter 3 verse 14, that ye are made partakers of Christ if ye hold the beginning of your confidence steadfast unto the end. If we don't hold it but we slide, then whatever we've done in the past, as God said in Ezekiel chapter 33 verse 13, won't be remembered. Just as if you start a house but don't finish it, it's the same as if you never even started, because you're not able to live in an unfinished house, right? So that was the point Jesus Christ was trying to make. And the same thing applies if we're marrying, right? We shouldn't just get married and then not really think about, am I going to be able to be with this person 10, 20 years from now? We should also think about the future and so on, so that when we get into it, we know that it's for the long haul. If we're raising a family, we shouldn't get into it but then abandon it 10, 20 years later because we've seen something more interesting. We should be committed. And that is where I'm going to stop on breaking down what Jesus Christ said in Luke chapter 14, verses 28 to 30, which once again reads, For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply, after he hath laid the foundation, and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build, and was not able to finish. So, if you have enjoyed this video and learned something new today, then I'd appreciate if you click the like button and also the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I come back with another video, then you can click the notification bell. Have a good day, and I'll see you with the next video.